Hey everyone, Wayne Fox back. I've got a quick video on Lightroom 8.4, which was released a few days ago by Adobe. Almost didn't do this video because there's not really much in it. A couple of new things, one feature that might be useful, and a couple of other things that's good to know about. So I thought I'd just do a quick rundown. Obviously, there's some new cameras and lenses, and I think that's the main reason that these releases are timed when they are, so they can add new cameras and they throw a few things in that they're working on at the same time. If you want to know about those cameras and lenses, I've got a link down below, which will take you to Adobe's site and show which new cameras and lenses are now supported by Lightroom. In the meantime, let's go take a look and see what they actually added to Lightroom itself. Of course, we're talking about Lightroom Classic here, and that way you can be aware of what's going on. The first thing to mention is they continue to try to get better performance by using the GPU in your computer. The GPU in the past has been used to help speed up the display of things. But now if you go to Preferences and you go to Performance, you'll see that they've got this auto setting, which is basic support, which is mainly viewing of the images. If you go to Custom, you can now turn on GPU support for image processing itself, which will hopefully make things in the Develop module go a little quicker. If you have any issues with Lightroom freezing up or if the graphics are funky, first thing to do is start turning different things off and on to see if your graphic processor might have a problem, because not all of them are supported equally. I haven't used it enough to see if it has any significant difference or not, but obviously every little bit helps. They also mentioned that they've enhanced performance in the library module. They didn't really mention what they did or how they did it, but supposedly the library module has better performance now as well. So the next thing he added was the ability to put color labels in collections. Of course, you've been able to do color labels on individual images from the beginning, and recently they added the ability to add color labels to your folders in your catalog. Now you can actually put a color label on a collection. So you can just right-click here and add color label, and you can give it that color. This can be quite useful, I would think. I personally wish they would actually highlight a little bit more than just this little square. One thing to mention here is if you go up under metadata, you can go to color label set, and if you go to edit, you'll see that you can give your collections and your folders and your images your own color label names. Might be useful. Just thought I would mention that real quick. Related to this is you can also limit your collection displays by those that are labeled. If you go up here and you just click here, you'll see that you can go label collections, so only the collections that have labels are shown. In this case, I only have one with a label, so it only shows me the one. So the next feature they added was the ability to have an index number down in the film strip. This index number will correspond to the matching photograph in the grid view. If you aren't aware of the grid view, there are two different choices here. You can change this from normal cells to compact cells, and you can change the information that it gives you. So let's just switch it over to compact cells, and you'll notice that there's a big number here. Now, what's odd about this is most of the time you can't actually see that number if you're in compact view. If we go to the regular view, that number is very, very small. It'll just be listed up in the top. Personally, I have no use for this number down here because if you click on an image, it will just go to that image in the film strip anyway, so you can always get to the matching image in your film strip just by double clicking on it. In fact, I don't even think you have to double click on it. I think if you click once, the film strip jumps to where you are. So you're always going to see the image in the film strip that you've got highlighted up above. So to me, it's something I'm going to turn off. To turn that off, go to Preferences and go to Interface and just hit this Show Index Number and turn that off, and that'll get rid of those. That's a feature. I'm not sure how useful that will be. I can't see any use for it at all. I don't even care about these index numbers. The only reason I've got them here to show them is for the video, so I'll change that so they don't show later as well. So they also have added support for PNG files. If I export this image here, you will see that PNG is now an option. That's probably more useful if you imported PNG files, because then you can maintain the transparency of that. I personally won't probably see much use for it, but I'm sure some out there might find it very, very helpful. Another feature they've added is the ability to batch process HDR merge and panorama merges. If you want to merge multiple ones at the same time, the first thing you do is you make sure they're in a stack. So here you can see that I have 6 images in a stack here, and I've got 7 images in a stack here. If I click on one and I Command or Control click on the other, if I do the panorama merge, it will just go ahead and begin that process. You'll see up here it's got 2 operations in process. The downside of this is you don't get the preview. It just simply does the merge. So in my case, it probably won't be useful because I always want to look at what it's doing. But I think there are times where people are doing a whole bunch of panoramas and they want to just merge them all together. However, batch processing HDR merges might be very helpful for some people because most of the time when you're doing an HDR, you're doing quite a few. So I don't do HDR merges much, so I don't have an example to show you, but the ability to batch process those might be pretty handy. Well, that does it for the video. Hopefully that was helpful. Not much in this release, but it's good to know about what's new, so maybe you'll find some use in it. Appreciate those that have subscribed. I hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. Yeah, not much compared to some of these other channels. Pretty minor, but it's kind of one of those milestones that YouTube uses to decide whether to recommend videos to other people. And so it makes me feel pretty good. There's a few people out there that like to follow what I do. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, maybe think about hitting that button below and ringing the bell so that videos in the future you might see. Got several good ones I'm working on. Some are pretty basic for Lightroom, mainly intended for my students that I work with, so they can get a quick refresher if they need to. But some of them are some more advanced ones, and I'm working on some pretty advanced shooting technique ones as well. Over the next year, I plan on getting out quite a few more videos and adding to the channel. If you have anything you have a question about and would like to see a video on, please feel free to drop a comment below. I do read all the comments that people leave me. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching and see you later.